Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. I'm your host, Mitchell Gunter. Tonight, we have bracket racer Robert Simpson joining us, and we are going to break down a little bit of the World Footbrake Challenge that took place last weekend up in Bristol, Tennessee. But first, before we bring Robert on, we want to thank all of our sponsors that make everything happen for us. One of those is Team GRE, Goolsby Racing Enterprises, right there in Gainesville, Florida. Hey, if you need a vehicle wrapped, they can take care of you. They can even wrap airboats. They can do signs and also letter your storefront. On the Spot Lawn Maintenance, full service lawn care for you. That's right. We've been getting some rain here and there, and that grass is starting to grow. Hey, if you need your lawn mowed or you need them to come give you an estimate, give them a call at 904-966-1633. Hey, coming up at Gainesville Raceway, October 27th, 28th is the 8th annual 352 shootout that Derek Putnam's been putting on. I tell you what, this is a great event. A lot of different classes to be contested, and they also have a car show that's part of the event.
Hey Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida and David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
60 years of innovation, 60 years of attention to detail, 60 years of rigorous testing under race conditions is what makes ATI Performance Products great. ATI has been helping racers like you reach the finish line first. Today, we manufacture a wide range of high-performance parts that are track-tested and race-proven. We're passionate about performance, and that passion is what drives you to the finish line first. See everything ATI has to offer at ATIRacing.com.
Hey, Robert, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us tonight to talk a little bit about your experience up there at Bristol at the World Footbrake Challenge.
Thank you for having me, Mitchell. I appreciate it. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I tell you what, it's always a great night if you get to sit back and relax and talk a little bit about drag racing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, especially with buddies.
I tell you what, I hear that you've done pretty well up there Friday and into Saturday morning.
Yeah, I definitely was blessed. We had a really good time. And the Friday race, since they have a 1 o'clock curfew, and since a couple rainstorms pushed us back a little bit at the beginning, we finished the rest of it on Saturday. So yes, I bought 2 entries. I went out in round 6 with one of them, and I went out in round 4 with the other. So yes, we were very blessed, and even we're the slowest car up there at that point of eliminations. We were the slowest cars, but still had a great time.
Yeah, and I tell you, man, what a big crowd they had for that gamblers race on Friday night. 713 entries, broke the record. Last year they had 551 to be exact, which helped increase the purse from $10,000 to $15,000. $5,000 extra. That's a pretty good chunk of money.
Oh, it is. It is, especially when you look at just the entry. The entry was only $100 to run for what was initially the $10,000. And actually, not only that, but the kind of a twist to it is there was no buybacks. So 713 entries went down the track for first round alone. And I roughly off the top of my head is about 4.5, 5 hours to complete first round. And how they break it up is they break it up by color codes. When you come in your entry for your first time, as you're aware, when you come in for entry, if you do a single entry, they'll give you a random color, and it's black, blue, green, purple, red, and yellow. And if you're double entered, they'll give you a black sticker first and then a random second color. And that's usually how they try to call you to the lanes, like black cards first, blue cards next, etc. And they have a very, very well-oiled machine. Jared Pennington and Steve Stites are the ones that started it, and they still run it. And it's the 17th year of it, and each year it's gotten progressively bigger. And it's quite amazing watching how they built it and how they run it. And it is very racer friendly to anybody that comes through the gate. Everybody's nice from the front to the back. If you got a question, you can ask anybody, and they're very, very helpful. So I think it's what keeps bringing people back.
Well, I'll tell you, if they keep on going with this many entries, they may have to go to a whole 5-day or 7-day event because it is growing rapidly. And what's so good about this event? Hey, it's foot brake, guys. No electronics. You're doing it with both of your feet. So it makes it very challenging. Something that me and you we do week in and week out. But there was several of them up there that actually took their boxes out of their cars and foot braked them to have a chance to try to win some money.
Oh, yeah. You see many cars that you've seen with delay boxes in before, and the boxes are removed. A lot of people still have trans brakes in their cars, but they leave the button out of range and they keep both hands on the steering wheel. So it's very well self-policed. But like you said, it's off the foot, no delay boxes, no trans brakes, no two steps. And this year, I don't know if they started last year, they took away the mechanical devices to hold RPM steady. Seen them very popular in the Northeast, but I also saw them down here. They took those away. So it's about the purest form, just about that you can get to of foot brake, and from the very first time run, that everybody is going for it and trying. So there's not oh, I'll get 2 time runs and then take a shot at it. Everybody from the opening is working at it and trying. So that's you can feel that competition, but that's also what makes it really good.
Well, Robert, how do they get everybody teched?
They do it. They do it very similar to how they do at home here in Gainesville. I mean, it's real similar. I'm not going to go into. It's real simple. You fill out your tech card. Very simple card. When they call you to tech is at Bristol is near the ticket booth, so it's near the finish line on the quarter mile on the right hand side of the track. And they got a nice little awning and whatnot there over to the side. They pull you through there. You show your tech card, open the hood, the inside and stuff like that, and then they're looking and spotting. And what was funny is they asked me, said, open your hood, and I did. And as soon as they saw my carburetor, which is a quadrijet, the guy instantly laughed. He said, "Shut the hood. There's nothing to see here." And I kind of laughed because that's the first one I've seen today. And I said, well, probably the only one you're going to see this weekend since Dan McCall wasn't there. So that I thought that was pretty humorous. But, I said, you can check whatever you want. And the guy looked over the car, but he saw that mine, like yours, is a very basic street car. So he didn't have to look too hard. But others that had much quicker cars, they're checking their safety gear and make sure they had jackets, obviously helmets, but jackets, belts, general stuff like that. But
right.
The tech went on Wednesday, actually Thursday morning, and it started earlier. I think they started about 8 o'clock. So people were coming down there relatively quickly, and they had 1 to 2 people, and it moved out really, really quick. It'll be part of my video I have out next time. I'll drive down to the tech line, and once I go through it and drive back, you can see it moves pretty steady.
Well, and I think they know, they're getting a lot of people coming there to race in this event. They see the competition numbers on the cars, know that their cars are already to standards of what they need to be by their tech. So it helps, speed up the whole process for sure.
True. And they're not the type that want to push people away. They're not. They're very, very friendly with everything, including how they allow people to stage their cars, since we deep stage. And they allow deep stagers to stage. And what I mean by that is they turn off auto start. The starter controls the button. And how the rules are up there, if you're deep staging, you go in and turn in both bulbs first. I mean, when I say first, I mean you turn on both bulbs. You don't turn on
Right.
just your pre-stage. And when you turn on both bulbs, that's considered a pre-stage if you're deep staging. So that's one way to speed the system up. And like I said, you look over and both drivers know if they're both deep staging, and the starter keeps track. Now, the starter does not wait around forever. He does not. I saw him throw the tree on some people and get upset because they were not making that forward motion stage. But to say the least, it's a very fair system, and they move it right along.
Right. Better words for it. If you're deep staging, you go in there and let those both of your top and bottom bulb, you better be ready to roll on in and
Yep.
put the top one out,
Yep.
or the
Yep.
tree's going to come down on you, and you're not going to be ready.
Well, when you're set, and I mean the two bulbs on, since I'm deep staging, if the other driver is not deep staging, he turns on his first bulb, and boom,
Right.
we're both ready, and we both finish staging. And and like I said, you can tell everybody that I saw didn't drag their feet. There's only one person that got caught. Not when I say caught, I mean he wasn't staging to enough that the starter noticed it and threw the tree. And it happens. It happens. But like I said, the system that they have is very racer friendly. Everything from from the no ET brake. You can be as slow as you want. There's guys with little micro sprints. I don't even know what they were, but those small cars running mid 13s in the 8th mile, all the way down to cars running mid 5s. Now that was an adventure watching that. That was, I mean, 6 seconds head start in some cases. But there's not many of those, but there are a couple, and they're very, very competitive. So it's
I've seen
really
a
good
couple
time.
of pictures that they actually had posted on their website or on their Facebook page, rather, throughout the event. And I've seen a couple of those cars, and you're like, man, that other guy in the other lane, boy, he had to have some patience of steel, to stay calm and wait for his tree to start to drop. But I tell
Oh,
you what, I want to show some people, some viewers that may look at this that has never been to Bristol to race up there. But man, isn't that right there just
yeah.
beautiful?
That's right. That picture was taken on the grandstands on top of the gravel hill on the left-hand side, and there's pits to the left of that picture, which you can't see on this. And it goes all the way down to almost the quarter-mile mark of cars up on the hill. And then obviously you see the pits there at the finish line, and the pits wrap all the way around the starting line back into the hole, which that's what I call it. Behind the tower, it actually drops down, and that's where a lot of the guys from Gainesville were parked at. It's an amazing. I'll send you some more photos where I took some more pictures around the track. The view is spectacular. If you've never been, you've got to go.
Tell us a little bit about your car.
Okay, well, as you can see right there, that's my Nova. It's a 70 Chevy Nova. I've had it since, I think, 96. I bought it at a used car lot in front of a palm reader, of all people, Madame Ruby's here in Jacksonville. There was a little small used car lot in front. I bought it. It was butternut yellow, had both fenders dented, hood rusted, etc. And my father and I gradually fixed it up over the years. It's got a 383 small block Chevrolet in it, very simple, pump gas, very, very simple setup in it, turbo 350 in it, and a 12 bulb rear end with a 342 gear. I got a FTI ESR 10-inch street converter in it, and got parts from Competition Products all through the engine, Harlan Sharp rocker arms, and Quadrajet on it. Like I said, very simple. All I got to do is change the tires on it, and I can drive it about anywhere I want. My wife and I will go to dinner, and just there's nothing. The numbers wipe off the windows, and everything works in it. Except I now have to fix the radio, the fuse blew. But other than that, it works.
Now, one of the most exciting things, and sometimes one of the most disappointing things all at the same time, is the ice cream. Tell us a little bit about the ice cream and how do you get some free ice cream?
Well,
But is it really free?
that free ice cream comes with a $100 re-entry. You see, whenever they have the big races, which up until this year it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and due to weather they had to move it around a little bit in the car count. But the big races, in this case Saturday, Sunday race, they do buybacks. They allow buybacks for 1 or 2 entries, depending on how heavy one, and it's $100 per buyback. And what they do is when you go around to the little small shack behind the tower for your buyback, they'll give you some ice cream for your buyback. So a couple years ago, the guys at the track made up a T-shirt that said "No ice cream," big symbol on it, and all that stuff. So that's the running joke. If you go, that is some good tasting ice cream. Not good
Yeah,
enough,
I've seen
but
Daniel Salyers with that T-shirt.
Oh yeah, exactly. I have mine hanging up, and yeah, I have mine too. And trust me, anybody that's been there has bought ice cream, and it's a nice little touch. Obviously, it doesn't fully curb the blow having to buy back, but the guys do it, and it's a nice touch. It really is. It's something small, but it's still a nice touch.
Yeah, I'll tell you one of the things I really like that they do up there is they have the hard luck award.
Mm-hmm.
If you just your luck is just terrible, and Joe Hutto actually won that award up
Oh, he
there.
got it this year.
Yes,
Oh,
cool Joe. Yeah, he actually won
didn't
that
know that.
award this year, and he actually lives up in Jessup, Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
and he also travels between a couple of tracks. He comes to Gainesville every once in a while, but the they have an award for the best package without turning on the wind light. Just all different types of awards and bonuses throughout the day that people can actually win, even if they don't get the chance to either win the gambler races or the big race on Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm. They do. They have. That's something that makes this race very interesting from just looking and reading at the flyers. Now, there's other people that put on races like Michael Beard and other people, I believe Michael does the same thing. But what Jared and Steve do in this particular one is they have a purse breakdown. They start paying, I believe it's second round win. I think you get like $25 or $50, and each round progressively increases. And some people look at that, it's like, well, that's not much pay for a third round win or fourth round win, but you got to look at how many people are there, and they're paying that. So they offer that, and also there's all kinds of sponsorships for each round for best losing package, best winning package,
Right.
different combination. I mean, you get certificates for steering wheels I think it's RBZ steering wheels, and also Hoosier tires. You get a coupon for that and discount for this. And it really, you can tell that because they're racers themselves. Okay,
Oh yes,
they've raced and still race hardcore. I mean, if you look at the history of both of Jared and Steve and see what they've accomplished as racers and what they've driven, especially Steve with his front wheel drive Cavalier. I mean, taking out Super Pro cars for years. Okay, in the B&M series and other series, just for example. I mean, you can see that they understand that the little things go a long way. So they do things to help out, and just to help out racers and other sponsors and things in many ways. And that is a small but a very meaningful way. And it's appreciated. I think that's part of the reason, that racers continue to come to this race year after year and keep coming back year after year, is because how they're treated.
I agree with you 100% because everyone who I talk to, they speak very highly of the World Footbrake Challenge. I mean, they do. And I know I've been told several times, Mitchell, you got to go up there and try it. You would love it, just the atmosphere itself. And, racers, we're like a big group, a big family, away from our family when we're at the track. And,
Yep.
We're always willing to help out the fellow man or fellow woman, to keep them going rounds.
Absolutely. And there was many examples of that. They would do parts calls occasionally. I mean, a starter for an AMC or a Ford. So some things were odd, but one guy was calling for an entire Paraglide, and it didn't take 5 minutes and somebody answered the call. Okay, now I don't know if they're buddies, it doesn't matter, but there's somebody at the tower, throttle cable, shifter cable, whatever it might be. And there's people or buddies that I have now that I met up there, like the Green family, that they have a large family, Caleb and everybody that comes to this race from North Carolina. And then I also met the Kings, which are from Virginia. They were parked next to us, and they fed us some. And they have a wicked quick Maverick, but some great peoples there. And then, of course, the Baileys out of Tennessee. They were right down the way from us. And Miss Brianna had a unfortunate incident there at Bristol the week before with her truck when something broke and it nosed into the wall. I mean, she's okay, but they brought out their reliable Malibu, and she went many rounds. I mean, beautiful car, and she is one heck of a driver. Actually, they all are. Brandon, all of them are great. But I'm just saying, I met them at previous races, and we just keep in contact, and hopefully to continue. But yeah, once you go, you will meet somebody that you'll call a friend, and continuing forward will remain friends.
You know, another thing that I like that they do, you know, while they're live streaming the whole thing, you have Jake Hodge. He's going around and he's doing interviews in the staging lanes with drivers. You know, you're finding out who this person is, where they came from, how they got into the sport, and everything. And that just, you know, just showcases not just the event, but showcases our love for what we do on the weekends.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And that's something I'm hoping to do here in the near future myself, is because you and I both know so many great people at the track and outside the track, but at the track and their extended families and stuff, that I want to, you know, include them in what I'm doing and put it out there and just share it with others so people see the same thing that we see on a regular basis. And yeah, I was watching some of the interviews he was going around, and you could tell his buddies, you know, especially the buddies, because I mean they get ragging pretty good, which is hilarious when you see it from behind the scenes. But they were also they got some videos coming out with their drones. They were flying a drone over the track, and they were going around at different areas and doing different things. So I think that's a great touch, and I think it'd be good at our track when you continue on doing what you're doing. I know you're going to progress up to things like continue to do things like that, but you're just one person at this moment. You're stretched thin. You're stretched thin right now, but you're doing a great job in what you're doing. It's really appreciated.
Yeah, it gets a little rough when you're racing and trying to live stream an event at the same time, because you'll see me sometimes. I'll be walking around in the staging lanes with my phone, looking at the live stream, making sure everything is still working.
Yep.
And sometimes I get a little too carried away worrying about that I take away from what I should be taking care of on the track. And it
happens.
It has put me out real early before, because of that mentality of not being able to block it out. That's just something that I'm going to have to learn how to do if I'm going to continue to live stream and race at the same time for our ET bracket series out at Gainesville. But yeah, I'm hearing that we may have some opportunities to go to some other tracks and do some live streaming of some other races, and that's how I kind of want to move in that direction, because I also want to touch base for the grassroots guys,
mm-hmm.
as long as with the professional guys and gals. You know, I want to, you know, showcase the whole sport from one spectrum to the other. And I think it's very important. And it was funny. Someone asked me one day and says, "Where's all the people at? Do you have no people in the stands?" I says, "Everybody's racing."
Yep.
We've had people come out there, sit down in the stands, watch time runs, and go, "You know what? I want to try this." And they'll go buy a tech card. And next thing you know, they're in the staging lanes, you know, running with us. Which is a great thing.
I agree.
I think it's becoming more educational. People are starting to get more and more educated about bracket racing, and they're starting to realize it's not as easy as what it looks to be. It is quite hard. Shoot, me and you, we've raced against each other a couple of times, and
more than once.
Man, some close races.
Yeah, you've whipped my backside more than once. Yeah.
I think you whipped me more.
No. We're probably at a split, but yeah, you know how it is when you race a lot of your buddies and you race often, and some of those nights you just end up running each other just so many times you get tired of looking at each other. but that's what makes it fun. And I agree with you. I've shared with many people the good things about coming out and going drag racing, but also for the bracket racing thing, and starting, for example, in sportsman, where I started in the street class. I think you started in the street class also. I think that's what they call it.
Trophy, what was it? Fast Trophy or something like that.
It was
Was
something
one
like
of the
that.
classes that we were in. Yep.
And that's where I started too. And as they changed classes and moved to sportsman and stuff like that, but still sportsman is about typically the most street legal, kind of cars out there. And we run quarter mile where the other classes run eighth mile. So
Right.
yeah, it's enjoyable, and I've had a lot of people come and visit and or go to their local track and see what it's about, and and I just share with them, it's like you literally can race anything down the track as long as it's safe, and you're safe in what you're wearing and stuff like that. But just get out and enjoy it. That's the whole bottom line, is enjoy it. I tell you, when I first started with my Nova and it would run mid 14, some of the best racing we had and the funnest racing was when I was running Dan Salyer's. And when Dan had his white truck at the time, his Silverado, and I'd barely give him a handicap, and it was like two people barely passing each other on the interstate, but he'd get down, and I mean, we were looking at each other, and sometimes he's waving at me as he drops the front end on me and all this stuff, or, sticking his tongue out at me or something like that, back and forth. But it was always fun, and you know what I mean? Competitive. You get how competitive it is, but it was always fun, and it still is. And if it's not fun, then something's got to change.
Yeah, I tell you what, I started out going to the Gator Nationals, and I got bit. I was into going to car shows and doing car audio and doing sound competitions and stuff and car audio, and it just caught me, and I was like, hey, I don't want to do too much of the car audio stuff anymore. I want to start coming out here and racing, and just fell in love with the sport. All in all, I mean, it's a wonderful sport. You can't get mad at the other guy in the other lane if he beats you, because it is your fault.
That's exactly right. That's what I say. It's like, if I lose, it's like I made more mistakes than the other driver, and if I won, I made less mistakes than the other driver. And I was just like you. I started just doing cruising and with my buddies, and the car stereos and all that kind of stuff. And even though I've been raised around drag racing, my father and my uncle did junior stocks and stock eliminator and did all that stuff in the early super gas years and all those kinds of things. But then we come over, to the bracket racing side, and I tell people, it's like, this is one, if not the only sport I can think of where actually we race on the same track as the big boys. You can't do it at Indy. Right. At the Brickyard. You can't do it at Daytona. You can't do it at Bonneville. You can't do it, at those places. But at drag racing, we run on the same tracks as the national events, the very same ones. So I tell people that, and then they look at me and they're like, oh, okay. See, so then it starts opening up the windows or opening up the doors of opportunities for people to realize that they can do this and can enjoy it.
Oh yeah, from everything from your daily driver to a rail, that's what's so great about our sport.
It is.
And we talk about family a lot. A family that races at the track, they always stay together. And with me mentioning that, I want to throw a picture up here of you and your dad.
Yep, that's the dad. That's the dad. Yeah, that's my mentor. That's my mentor. That's the man I look up to right there. Man raised me. So, yep, love my father and appreciate everything he's ever done for me and still does for me. So, yeah, I look forward when he goes racing with me.
It's always great to see him around out there at the track. He tries to speak to everyone, especially the class that we race in, the sportsman class.
Yep.
He's always there. And just the joy that you can see the joy in his eyes, seeing you do well and have the opportunity to win a couple of races here and there. And
right. We've been
really
fortunate.
Great.
It is great, and I'm happy that when my family is there, my dad and when my wife's able to make it with her schedule, just to be there. Whatever the results may be, but just to be there. And it's really fortunate. But my father is competitive when it comes to drag racing. I mean, he is very competitive in a good way. I mean, I mean, yeah, he's always thinking on how to improve things and how to do things better, and correctly. So it helps keep me on track, not to get carried away or in the weeds, so to speak.
And you have to be competitive, because if you're not competitive, you're just throwing money away.
Exactly.
I think if you're competitive, it just shows how much love that you have for the sport, and how well that you want to, you want to do for yourself.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you want to root your friends on. Even after you get eliminated, you
Oh
come back
yeah,
and
yeah.
try to root
Oh
your
yeah.
friends on to grab that win.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially when I get beat, I want that person, whoever it is, to go on and win everything. You know what I mean? Unless that person that beat me is going against other buddies, and then it's a toss up. You know what I mean? And so yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, we're all competitive, and we all want to win. But when that run doesn't work out, you don't win.
That's right. And if
Tip
something
your
happens,
hat, the competitor, and congratulate them, and I got to work on me next time.
yeah, and if something ever happens to someone, we're all there to rally
Of
around
course,
and do whatever we can to help that person.
of course, yes.
Speaking of renting the motorcycle out there, that Rodriguez,
Rodriguez.
what's
Oh,
his name? Santi.
Santi. Yeah, yeah, not Rodriguez. Santi. Yeah, you had that
Yeah,
incident. Was it last
when
year?
he had his incident,
Oh yeah.
everybody was willing to purchase 50-50 tickets. We were doing those
Mhm.
to raise money for him, because we didn't know his extent of his injury, how long he was going to be out from work, how long he was going to be before he gets back on another motorcycle. And fortunately, he's back this year and doing pretty well.
That was such a freak incident. I mean, that was. I know you saw the pictures afterwards of what he discovered, what caused it,
Oh
but that
yes,
that was just so freak to happen like it was, like it did. But you're right. I mean, nobody wants anybody hurt. That's the bottom line. And I know people that will go out of their way. It's like with Miss Renee or Thomas, if their knees hurt, and somebody pulls a chair out or insists, they sit down, they can still control it from over there, and everybody will pay attention to where they're sitting. You know what I mean? Or trying to look out for the guys and gals on the starting line, and make sure they are hoping they have a tent out there when it's hot. And you know what I mean? We do. Everybody does try their best to look out for others.
I imagine Renee, she probably gets asked 50 or 60 times, does she need a bottle of water?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's got the pull. All she had to do is snap and point, and somebody will get her a bottle of water. you know, and that's true for. I mean, Thomas too. I mean, if Thomas is leaning over something and needs something, I mean, what I mean. It goes for anybody, but
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a
And Thomas
definitely
Gaines is greatly appreciated out there,
he is.
taking photos and stuff for us, and does a really great job. Now he has a printer. He can print your pictures right there at the track. You don't have to wait a week or the next following race to pick them up. You can get them that day,
Mhm.
which is another great thing that's happening. I wanted to get back into the World Footbrake Challenge real quick and talk a little bit about the winners. And we had McKinney that actually won Saturday, won $15,000 on that race,
Yep.
and then the big one on Sunday, which was Taylor. Uh, give me a second.
Yeah, his last name slipped my mind. The Blue Note.
Bullen.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
Taylor
that's
Bullen.
who beat me. That's who beat me in my fourth round on Friday's race. That's who beat me
Yep.
that day. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but saw him again on Sunday.
Yeah, he's the one that grabbed the 50K, and boy, that must be a great feeling after a long weekend.
Can only imagine the Friday race. If memory serves me right, it took 10 rounds. It took 10 rounds. Now that's no buybacks. It took 10 rounds to get to the final. And so I imagine the Sunday race with buybacks, it was probably pretty equal. And there was less cars on Sunday race than there was for the Friday race, because they gave people options. If they couldn't make it to race, like us on that particular day, they give you your entry back. And that's something else that makes it a really good race. If you have a unfortunate situation that you cannot stay and you have to leave before the race starts, they'll give you your entry back. And that's what, even matter of fact, that's what they did when we started our race on Saturday. We made it through the first round, and they made it through halfway through buyback when the bottom fell out. It
yes.
fell hard. Really hard and fast. But since that pushed back everything again, and they still hadn't finished the Friday race, they decided to basically wash out the Saturday race and combine it with Sunday. So, and they said, everybody who's bought back on Sunday or Saturday, come right over here. We'll give your money back. You know what I mean? And then they do a lot of things like that.
Well, I think a lot of people, after the bottom fell out, they were able to go home with a little bit less weight, because if they had easy ups up,
yeah, Dan's is gone.
They were probably unusable.
Dan's is gone. It tore up Phil's awning and others. It tore up. It came through hard. You know how it usually is down here. You usually feel a little bit of a cool breeze, and you look up and you see it coming down the road. Here, all you saw was the line, and then you just saw rain coming your way. And by the time I turned around, there was no breeze or nothing, just a little bit of drizzle. I'm like, I'm running to close stuff up. By that time, it is coming through like crazy, and it's whipping stuff and tearing stuff up. It came out of the mountains. It came down hard, and it was so cold. Oh my goodness, that was some cold rain. But yeah, it hit really, really hard and fast, and then tapered right off. And I tell you, it goes back to the staff here at Bristol. They were very, very fast and had that track, as long as it didn't rain no more, had it clean and dry in under 2 hours and ready to go from stem to stern.
Yeah, it had 2 jet dryers there, which helped speed up a lot, having 2 jet dryers.
They have a system. And it works.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So what's your plans next, Robert? Is there any other big money bracket races that you want to do that's on your bucket list? Or
well, as far as on my bucket list, yes, I like to go to they have some other foot brake races over in Alabama and Mississippi. Won't be able to do it this year. These events obviously take time away from work, and you have to save up to go for hotels and all that kind of stuff. So I'll have to plan accordingly. But I would like to be able to go to at least 1 or 2 of them in my life to experience it, because this one was really good. And I want to go to one of Michael Beard's foot brake races, because once again, I think it's at Piedmont is primarily where he has a lot of them, North Carolina. And I've heard the really good things about that. I just want to go to experience it and see new tracks. And then later this year, actually in another month, we're planning on going to the Tri-Fi Nationals in Bowling Green. Take my father's car and go visit family. So we're going to go to that in August, and then continue on at home in Gainesville, and hopefully qualify for the bracket finals up in Aiken, South Carolina. And, it's called the House of Hook. I'm trying to remember. It's Carolina Dragway, I think is what it's called.
Yep, Carolina Dragway.
Never been there, so hopefully I'll qualify to be able to go.
Well, I should be okay. I'm hoping where I'm at. Hopefully, I can improve a little bit this last race coming up. But I'm really looking forward to going up there. I used to not go to the divisional finals. Even when I qualified, I just didn't go. And we have a friend that we knew, Gunnar Lakey, that's no longer here.
Yep.
And he pressed for me to start going to those things. And I said, that's one thing he always wanted me to do is experience those divisional divisional races. And I said, we're going to do it, Nikki. So since then we have been going to them and been lucky enough to have the opportunity to qualify to go. And I'm really looking forward to going up there. I hear it's a very nice facility.
Yeah, actually, Hutto, that's one of his home tracks that he races at a lot. I didn't get a chance to ask him about it, but he runs there a lot and obviously enjoys it. And yeah, I've heard good things about it. And obviously, the group we run with. I mean, one thing that's really nice is like Phil Green and Missy and the family. They have a breakfast for Gainesville racers and others, but they have it at their trailer just just to have it, just the camaraderie.
Right.
And some other people do some things like that, and that's really the good thing about the bracket finals. And hopefully, as the years progress, as a division, we can improve upon those things. It's lost a little bit of its luster, whereas other divisions are really cranked up big as far as bracket finals. So hopefully, we can improve that. I mean, obviously, there's things that people have suggestions to improve it, off the top, but
Right.
just things to improve it in general, to bring in more people, and because I enjoy going to new tracks and to meeting people, and just being around racing family.
And I'm the same way. I told like I talked to my wife, talked to my parents, and it's like, I have an opportunity to go here, and I've never been there before, so I want to go experience. I want to go experience that track, and I like Buckingham. The only thing I didn't like was the weather that we had that year, which that was not the track's fault. That was the leftovers of a hurricane that
Yep.
we thought we could get the race in, and the weather sped up, and it was on us. Hey, I did win first round and was able to pocket, I think it was $65.
That's right. That year you did. I didn't that year. That's right. On one class I did, the other class I didn't. You're right. I forgot about that. And
Yeah.
I think Dan was still in both of them or something. Like there were several people still in.
Yeah,
both
we
Marcus
were
was in
getting ready.
both.
They even called us, said, "All right, we're getting ready for second round." So we're all
Yep.
getting
We're
out
all in the
there,
lanes. That's right. We're all in
getting
the
in
lanes.
the lanes,
talking
getting
to each
ready to
other.
go, and it starts misting.
Oh,
And the
man.
mist just never stopped. It never really rained. It was just a heavy mist.
Yep.
And I think the division done the right thing by letting the racers, race of champion winners,
Right.
to go represent Division II. I think that was the best outcome that they could have done.
At that point, yes, I agree. Now we all understand that there were circumstances leading up to that which potentially could have been different, but that's water under the bridge. But at that point when
Right.
it happened, that was literally their only option, was to do that, because I want to say that was Sunday. I can't remember if that was on Sunday or not now that I think about it, but I don't remember. Was that Saturday night or was that
I
Sunday?
think that was Saturday night. They made a decision to
Because Sunday
that.
was supposed to be worse or something like that with
Right.
the weather. And I can understand not wanting or not being able to hold people over, beyond Monday or beyond Sunday, because
Oh, I
most
would have
every-
waited to Wednesday.
oh yeah, most everybody, yeah, they have that opportunity. I get it, but rest of us Joes that are working, you know what I mean. It's kind of hard calling out from out of state when they expect you to be back working, and yeah, I get it. But yeah, if it comes down to that opportunity, you're going to do everything you can to be there.
Yeah, I would have done this. I'm sorry, but I'm feeling sick today. I need to use some sick time.
Right then, a car starts up and drives and goes and starts a burnout. That's all you need to hear. You know what I mean? Oh, that's not me. That's somebody going down the road at the hospital or whatever like that. You're going to make up something. It's not going to work, though. You know it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I hope you do get the opportunity to go with us up there at South Carolina.
I hope so.
I think all you need is a win, right? And you're in.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I'll take one if I could earn one, and but it's not easy. Nothing is easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
and
I'm fortunate and blessed, and still working at it. Still learning something new every day, and still working at it.
I still learn how to lose.
Hey, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that. Years ago, when I was younger than I am now, my father and I were at the races at I can't remember if we're in Alabama or whatever. We were at a NHRA. It wasn't a summit, but it was the like the Lucas Oil Series is where it was, and we were competing. But we were just walking around looking at cars, and there's a guy out of Michigan there named Rock Running, and he had an enclosed trailer, and inside of the trailer on both sides were dry erase boards from the front to the rear, and there was written on them was excuses from top to bottom, from left to right on every dry erase board, and none of them repeated. You would not believe. We sat there for 10 minutes just reading and just laughing to no end. If you think about it, we experience about everything under the sun that you can imagine. or potential reason that we lost the round. Some of it we make up. Clearly, we make up. It sounds good to us. So we're making it up versus I just stunk it up. But some of the excuses was absolutely hilarious. What I ate from the night before, what I drank today. You know what I mean? Relative called me, phone ringing in my pocket. I mean, you just name it. Water temperature too high, water temperature too low, air temperature off on the right front tire. I mean, you name it. It was some of it you can't repeat clearly, but
Oh,
some
right.
of it was crude. You moved on, but it was some of the funniest stuff. So that just goes to show that if it's happened to you, it's happened to somebody else. So
Definitely.
you're not alone. You're just
Well, it
absolutely
happened.
not alone.
It happened to me at the last race on Sunday. I went out second round, and what I done something I never do, and I did it. So I go in, I pre-stage. The other car next to me was taking their time, which that's fine. They can take that time. And so I'm sitting there, and I do the wrong thing. I take my eye off the tree. I look over at their staging, pre-staging and staging bulbs. And I see him get in, and he goes in and stages. And by the time I look back, he's taking off and my tree's coming down.
Yeah, I learned something about that here recently, and I'll share that with you offline. Okay. Yeah, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've had the same situation happen to me. And what happened to me is I got in the car. That's what was wrong. I mean, everything under the helmet was wrong, and I mean the other driver did everything right. We were dead even on the tree and Sportsman. I mean, just we were like a thousandths off each other, and I went down there and I just ran out of talent. I forgot how to do anything. You know what I mean? I thought I tried to tighten it up a little bit, and I was dumb. I was dumb. I mean, he just ran a much, much better race than me. And in pro, I just showed up, and that was a mistake. I don't remember if I was running Jason Rollins. But any way you look at it, it just didn't work out for me. So sometimes it is what it is.
Yeah, I actually talk about Derek Putnam real quick. And Derek Putnam, he now works for Sick the Mag.
Yep.
He's doing some really
an excellent job. He's
Oh,
doing
he
an
is.
excellent job of announcing and everything. It's phenomenal.
And I ended up having to buy one night. They didn't understand what I was saying. They lined me up with Derek.
Okay.
And so, of course, I'm a little agitated because I'm supposed to have the buy and I shouldn't be running Derek. And it is a odd number of cars. So I had a true buy. And they kept on saying, no, come on out. So anyway, I came on out. I raced Derek. And I think Derek got me 12 10,000ths at the stripe. I mean, it was that close. And
Yep.
And Derek's like, man, you were like trying to cut my head off. I was like, I was mad because I supposed to have the buy and they wouldn't give it to me.
Right.
And he's like, oh no, they did not. I said, oh yeah, they did. Somehow they got confused, but I had the buy.
I'm sure Derek, after the fact, mentioned.
Oh, he felt bad about it.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, because I was at another race at Green Cove, the old Green Cove track, and the same thing happened with Mark Horton. When I got down to, I don't remember how many cars, like 5 or whatever like that, and they sent the buy run around, and Mark was the last one pulling up in the lanes. He says, I got the buy run. He was telling the guy, he goes, I was 000 on the tree. I got the buy run. And anyway, they sent the other guy down the track, and I ended up running Mark. And he ended up going red barely. But, and I didn't even know Mark. But as soon as he got out of his car, he goes, I got the buy run. I'm running over to the starter yelling, and me and other guys who I don't even know, we're just running over yelling, stop, stop, stop. And they didn't. They sent him on. They made a mistake that night. So, yeah, it does happen.
Yeah,
it does happen. And like I said, everybody tries to help each other because what's right's right. If you earn the buy run, and if it's odd number of cars, you deserve the buy run.
like I told him, I said, it's not your fault.
Oh, it happens. Things happen. I mean, it's not intentional.
They were basically telling, hey, you're either going to get in, you're going to run, or you can take return road, and so I tried to clear my head, and done what I could do to try to beat you, and I just came up a little short.
Yeah, but it sounded like you killed him on the tree, though, is what it sounded like.
Oh, it was really close. I don't know
Okay.
who had the better light, but they were. I want to say they were both 00 something on me and
Then,
him.
okay, y'all both
It
were
was,
going for it then. I like that.
oh yeah, it was both going for it.
Oh yeah, that's some of the best races is when you're both dead even on the tree, no matter if it's a good tree or a slow tree. But if you're dead even on the tree, that means it's an even race.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then and however it finishes, it finishes. That's some of the funniest and some of the best races. So
Yeah, I was
PJ and
driving
I had
most.
that race. Huh?
I was driving most of the way down with my side mirror, watching to see
Oh,
where he was at.
oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Now, was that when he had his big block in the car, or was that recent?
No, that was when he had his big block. Yeah.
Yeah, I've raced him before, and I'd go in high gear and look in my mirror, and all I'd see was the bottom side of his car taking off, and I'm like, that looks cool. And then I'd realize, hey, I'm racing him. I got to pay attention. By then he just comes blowing past you. 190.
Yeah, you're looking for the headlights to come back down.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, man, that Nova his is beautiful, but I mean, it was a real monster with the big block in it.
Oh yeah.
It's still a very quick ride right now. It really
He
is.
scared me a couple times with it because I thought a couple times he was going to flip that sucker over on its lid.
Yeah, he's stood it up pretty good a couple times. He's tore up some parts in that engine for sure.
I said, why
Transmission.
don't you put some wheelie bars on there? Here, I'm not no wheelie bar guy.
Yep. He's not into sissy sticks. He's
No.
not into that. None of those guys are. None of the Rollins group or any of those. I don't think any of them run wheelie bars on anything. And they more than had the capability to put them on the bumpers on any given day. So,
Well, since I still have you on here, I want to report some news. Alan is coming back. He's going to be racing in the NHRA in Factory X. So he's going to be driving Mr. Turk's car.
really?
It's known as the Blackbird. Yes. Yes. They just had that deal happen just the other day. So that's awesome. Alan Johnson's always been a good guy in my eyes, a great racer, and of course a big supporter of Mopar.
Oh
And,
yeah.
So that's going to be going on. And of course, we have Brainerd Speedway. Next coming weekend is going to be their last race as a national event. And then at the end of the year, that track will close and be torn down. The Vandermeer family is looking for an alternative area to build a new track. So they're not going away. They're not saying, hey, we're not going to be part of NHRA anymore. They are actually going to look at building a new facility. So I'm really happy about that. Even though this one's getting tore down, a new one's going to rise up by that family. And I tell you what, they have a great big love and passion for the sport.
That's a
Brandon
beautiful track.
Oh yes.
My wife and I were able to go to that many years ago, probably over 20 years ago, I think. And we were able to go to it and stumbled across it when we were going to Pikes Peak. Stumbled across the track and they had a points race going on that day, and that is an absolutely beautiful track. It really is. It's sad that it's going away.
It is right there on the back of what are they? The Hog Mountain, right?
I don't know. I don't know the name of it, but from the
And,
grandstands you can see the interstate off in the distance going by, and then you turn the other way and it's just straight up the mountain. So and the grandstands are cut out of the side of the mountains, and the pits are at the top of the grandstands. And I mean, it really is a lot to take in visual wise, because it is a beautiful, beautiful place.
yeah, I'm going to try to have the opportunity to go out there. I'm going to try to fly out there to experience it, being their 65th anniversary. That's the sad thing. It's their 65th anniversary and their last. It's a hard thing. And
It is.
these racers, they're looking to cash in on the last champion of Vandermeer. All the top guns are going to be gunning for a Wally.
Oh yeah. Now, suggestion to you: if you've never been to Colorado, which I don't know if you have or haven't.
I haven't.
Okay. Well, I learned something. My wife and I learned something really quick. Okay, we get headaches quick out there due to the altitude. So drink lots of water and take Tylenol. Trust me when I say that. As soon as you get off the plane, start drinking water. It will help get oxygen to you and to help alleviate some of the headaches if you have them. Until
Thin
you
that
get
blood
used to
out a
the
little
altitude.
bit.
Do what?
That's it. Thin that blood a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. It's exactly right.
But yeah, I do want to experience it. Tammy Bandamira, she asked me, if I could, she would like me to come out there and
Oh, that's great.
experience it. And I had her on it's been a little while back, but I had her on and we were talking about their 65th anniversary and all the special things that they were going to have going on, circling around the event. And, it's a
Yeah,
bittersweet.
it is. It is. It's sad, but you'll enjoy it, and you'll do excellent at the broadcasting, like you always do. And
I try to do my best. I like to bring the most accurate information. Someone's like, well, so-and-so broke that story 4 hours ago. I was like, yeah, but I wanted to make sure all my I's were dotted, all my T's were crossed, and all the information was correct before I put anything out on my
agreed.
page.
Totally
I'd rather
agree.
be a little behind and have the right information than jump the gun and be wrong.
Agreed. Agreed. And like you said, you like sharing accurate information,
Right.
and nothing wrong with that.
No, sir. Well, I appreciate you, Robert, for hopping on here. I'm going to go ahead and let you close out with me. And we want to thank everyone who watched the podcast tonight. And please follow our page on the Spot Motorsports Media as we live stream a lot of our racing events from Gainesville Raceway, and hopefully in the near future that will grow. We'll try to keep you up to date on what's happening in NHRA and also NASCAR. We've dove in a little bit deeper in that and try to be a little bit more open. I would like to cover Formula One and Indy, but I'm only one person, so it makes it really difficult to write articles on everything just by myself.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity, Mitchell. Like I told you before, I didn't expect somebody like yourself just to call me up and ask what's going on and talk about Bristol. But if I could share with you, I started a YouTube channel.
Sure.
Started just local. When I say just local, I mean so far it's just at Gainesville and it's just me. And it's YouTube. It's Simpson Competition 2877. So if you would go check it out. And so far it's just me, in-car camera and stuff. And as I get an opportunity, I want to take more videos of other people's cars, in-car. I'd like to get an in-car of your car, and Dan's and Bart and Phil's and a lot of other people to show just the enjoyment and camaraderie, you know what I mean? Not just inside my car, but like I said, got that going. And also the people that help other racers like Goolsby, GRE. Okay, he did the stickers for me also, does excellent work. Thomas with his Thomas Gaines Photography does all the pictures for Gainesville, does an excellent job. Of course, Gainesville Raceway, but also Competition Products, which does hardcore engine parts out of Wisconsin. I got a catalog for you, by the way, to give you, and also for Harlan Sharp roller rockers, American made. So I just suggest everybody, if they get an opportunity to, and also for FTI converters. As you know, they're here in Florida and they're a very big deal. They help a lot of racers, help a lot of different events and different things like that. So support racers that support us.
Exactly. You're exactly correct.
And just like you said, I mean, we bought tickets for junior dragsters, even though we don't have any junior dragsters, fundraisers to help them because we believe in them and support them. And, we've Girl Scouts and, we just like supporting others. So I just humbly suggest people to check them out in our channel.
Yeah, and the junior dragsters, they're getting ready to head up to Bristol, to Thunder Valley here in just
weeks.
Yeah, a week or 2 weeks.
They've already started. Some people were already coming in when we were leaving. Okay, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you serious? They're like going, yeah, for 2 weeks we're gonna have junior dragsters up here. And I'm like, oh boy, that's a lot of juniors. That's a lot of juniors. You can
And we
fit a
think that
lot
we
more of
see
them
a
in the
lot of
lanes
them
than you can
at the
big
divisional
cars.
finals.
So
We see a whole lot more that will be up there racing. I think we lost Robert for a second. He's froze up. But
okay,
oh, there he is.
there you are.
But
We're back.
we want to thank everybody again for watching us and following us, and really do appreciate it. We're up over 4,100 followers now, and we have been having traffic up to 608,000 people coming to the page and looking at the page and reading articles and stuff. So it has really grown up a lot over the past. I think we've only been doing this now for a year and 3 months.
Really?
So,
I thought it was longer than that.
well, we had On the Spot with David Rogers, which I was
Right.
doing stuff there, and then we branched and started this because of bringing racers on, and like you said, having you on tonight. Drag racing means a lot to different people,
Mhm.
and I like it all the way down to the grassroots guys, like I said, all the way up to the professionals that have them
Absolutely.
on. They have the opportunity to speak. So,
Yeah,
thank y'all, and
I appreciate
really,
it, buddy.
no problem, Robert. See y'all
Thank you,
guys
buddy.
later.
Have a good night. All right, take
Good
care.
night.
All right, bye.
Bye.